afternoon, everyone. This is RAND, and welcome to the global guided meditation call for Wednesday, December 18, 2024, 3:15 p.m. Eastern. We're having a time for change call tonight, a little after 9:15 p.m. Eastern. And we're going to be talking about where this civilization is going to be, where it's headed, the status of money, abundance, and prosperity, as opposed to the other stuff. We're all on this path of discovery. As we, right now in this very moment, we have a place to relax without any outside interruption. We are literally relaxing into our bodies, leaning back into our bodies. We're as still as can be. And we're focused on our breath rising and falling. Now, some people would say, well, that's nothing. Because we're so used to, the word doing, and we don't need to do. We can attract anything we desire. Obviously, we act, and we're active in certain things, and we engage with, and we decide. But chasing and grabbing and getting and wanting and all of those things are completely controlled by the ego mind. See, it's the opposite. You look at everything that we have been taught. For the most part, the opposite is the truth of it. That's how the dark frequencies sell a bill of goods to the population of the planet. What they tell you, you look at the opposite of what they're saying. See, when we're in pure consciousness, like in these meditations, you drop into pure consciousness. You're in the heart mind. You're not in the ego mind. And we know what the ego mind is, and we know what the material physical life is, and we experience it, all of us. And we know it's temporary. But we know that we are forever. That the pure consciousness, however you want to label it, pure consciousness, God, we're supremely immortal. We don't ever, ever, ever die. It's like, I've had people ask me, can you destroy energy? No, you cannot. Can you destroy energy with energy? No. Where does it go? It reconfigures. If you have two starships with electric weapons, right? And they fire at each other. Well, that electric weapon is energy. And so they fire it and it hits their holes and so on and so forth. That disappears unless you fire it again. Where does it go? It reconfigures. You don't see it, but you can't destroy it. Energy cannot be destroyed. Well, you can use up energy. No, you can't. It just changes form. Energy is never destroyed. It's never expended. It just changes form. So it's like us. The true gods that we are in these bodies, the pure consciousness, we're pure energy. Energy is energy. Energy is all that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever beyond, forever. And it's everything. Right? So so say somebody says, well, I'm going to burn some wood. Right? And the wood gives off fire. Where does that energy go? It reconfigures. I'm not kidding you. It does it. Now, the mind can't comprehend that. But it reconfigures. The energy does. It's not. You don't see it as fire, right? And the wood itself dissipates, but it reconfigures. So we have this misconception that we can expend things, expend energy, and it's depleted. So what do? Where is it? It's been reconfigured. It reconfigures itself. It's pure consciousness. Energy is pure consciousness in a form. We are pure consciousness in a form. So what we do is we create an existence that will entertain us, and that we don't take seriously, really, that will entertain us for a period of time. And in that entertaining, we begin to discover and learn and learn other things that we discover that we generate and we create what we experience. Doesn't it make sense? Now, we are not aware, mostly. Most of us are not aware of that yet. Some of us are, and becoming more and more aware every day. Through the heart mind, not the ego mind. The ego mind is there to do one thing: teach us. Okay? That's what it does. We are able to leave it alone and watch it to see how it operates, so we learn from it, and then we turn it around from it being our master, and then it becomes our servant. It's really cool. You can shift that. It's the only way for us to either discover or rediscover that we're a God, pure consciousness in these bodies. It's through the heart mind. You're not the ego mind. And the ego mind's there for us to watch and observe and learn, to know how it's insecure, to know how it's really never satisfied. It always is wanting more. There are short stints where it is satisfied, but it doesn't stay there for long. It wants more. And more and more. It never. And what is it really looking for? What's the ego mind really seeking? What is it seeking? Peace. It's what it's seeking. It doesn't believe it'll find peace. So it's on this endless tightrope, so to speak. And sometimes it'll find something, and then it's happy and it's great, and then it dissipates, and then it's on to the next, and on to the next, and on to the next. And none of us are exempt from it. But then we begin to figure it out with our childlike curiosity. And we start to say, I am not this ego mind. And I know it's an illusion, but it's been put there by the God that I am. And the reason it's been put there is so that I can experience and learn. So when you master the ego mind, guess what else you do? You master your thoughts. What does mastering your thoughts really mean? Well, it means that you know completely that when you are generating a thought and you send it out to the universe. It's not coming in. These thoughts that come into us are very tricky, because since we're not clear or really aware, they're so tricky that because they have our name on it. They trick us and make us believe that that's our thought, and it isn't. It's somebody else's thought, but it isn't ours. And when we start mastering our thoughts, we identify that. I said, that's not my thought. That isn't my thought. That's ego mind's. It's not mine. So therefore, I'm just going to let it pass by. I'm not going to engage it, not going to interact with it, just blow it off. It's just a thought anyway. And then when you say you're going to you intentionally give a thought out, right? It's like you're in this quiet time with the heart mind, and you put this thought out, and I don't care how, it's got to be detailed. It cannot be half-ass, sloppy. So you send one thought out to the universe. And you kind of look at things, you cover all the bases you can, and you make sure that you're very thorough, and you send it out. Now, the key to that's part of it. The other part of it is you are developing a 100% confidence, 100% faith, and 100% trust in yourself at all times and in this universe. How many of us have that? Unless it's ego mind, say, then there's some, and we know how to identify that. People who are ego mind controlled, they do have that, but it's like we call it arrogance, because it's ego mind. It's kind of like saying, look at me, look at me. Heart mind isn't like that. Heart mind is, you're not going to look at me, look at me. It isn't there. You send your intent out, and you know without a shadow of a doubt that intent's going to manifest. As soon as you send it out, it's going to start manifesting with this universe. It's not going to not, see? But with the ego mind, it's a different ballgame. That you send a thought out, and sometimes it's kind of sloppy and stuff, and mostly it's what we don't want. We get so tied up in what we don't want that it just becomes habitual that we send thoughts out on things that we don't want, and then the universe says, okay, so here you go. Everything around us, everything, is not real. And this is very difficult to comprehend, that it's not real. And you can touch it, you can feel it, everything, all of it. But it isn't real. So what the heck is it there for? It's our entertainment. It really is for our entertainment as the gods that we are, the pure consciousness in these bodies. That's why we created. I mean, heck, we've got to be entertained. We don't just exist. We engage and we experience. When we create things, we create things that catch us by surprise on purpose. We'll create things that come in and we say to ourselves, where did this come from? Why would I manifest this into my life? And that's where our curiosity kicks in. Instead of combating it or having a fisticuff with it, you say, wait a minute, look at this. What's in here that I created to come into my life? What am I looking at? What am I learning here? What's my experience? See, that's childlike curiosity. The ego-mind response is fear, worry, stress, and anxiety. It's pretty apparent what direction more and more of us are choosing. We are not choosing the ego-mind world. Not that we, not to say that it isn't adventurous, that it isn't challenging, that it isn't fun. It's just that we've done it a lot. We have done it for thousands and hundreds of thousands and millions and billions of years. So it's a shift that we've decided that, hey, we're not going to do that anymore. Have you ever done that? Have you ever said to yourself, I'm not going to do that anymore? It's kind of like you've been there, you've done it so many times, you just go, I'm not going to do this anymore. There's a philosophy, if you will. And the philosophy goes like this. You find something you like, right, in this life. You end up mastering it. And then, since you've ended up mastering it, you move to something else so that you can master it. And that's what part of this life is about. We move from one to the other and we master it. Not ego-mindedly, heart-mindedly. And then once we've mastered it, we move on to something else to master it. It's just like mastering our thoughts and mastering the ego-mind. Not much difference. But a lot of us will get caught. And we've mastered something. And then we get in the habit of continually doing it once we've mastered it. Doesn't it sound much more exciting and adventurous for us to say, I've mastered this. I'm deeply grateful for it. Now I'm going to go over here and I'm going to do this and master it. What a different philosophy. That will be that way in New Earth. We will go from one thing to the next and we'll master it. Not ego mind, heart mind. And this is how we learn, this is how we experience. Now, it doesn't mean that it's a cakewalk to master, because we need a little spice in there. Okay? We get bored easily. It's obvious. We need to have this activity, right? It doesn't have to be disastrous, right? We throw some things in during the course of our lifetime that really shakes us up, okay? And then we learn. And then we move. And see, what is it for, though? We throw those things in so that we stay in gratitude. It's one of the main reasons we throw those things in. Now, if we didn't throw those things in, would we be grateful? Not really, no. Right? You meet somebody in the course of your day. Not that you're looking for them, right? And you come across them and they have no legs and no arms. And they're happy. And after you've met with them and talked with them and you go about your day, you kind of contemplate, you focus and say, wow, look at how happy they were, and genuinely they weren't putting it on, that they still had a body to experience material physical life. And then you look at your own body and you say how deeply grateful you are for it. See, the universe puts certain things in front of us all the time. Now, the majority of us don't recognize them. We usually just let them pass by. Okay? Some of us, though, through our tribe-like curiosity, we look at them. We stop and say, wow, wasn't that amazing meeting that being and how it helped me really move into deeper gratitude. I mean, the gratitude, and this is why those things come in. We get complacent or we're not in gratitude. You know when you're not in gratitude, okay? You can feel the difference when you move into gratitude and when you're not in gratitude, okay? It's not a negative. It's just that we're not used to being grateful, even though it's our natural state of being. We're not used to it. We're used to just kind of walking the rope. And that's what we do. Now, sometimes you'll see people that have done something, right? And they're just elated. That they never, you'll hear them say that they never expected to have this happen, that they're just deeply grateful for where they're at the very moment. And you can tell they're being genuine about it. The planet is shifting to a deep gratitude for everything. Everything. Not just this over here or that over here, but everything. And it's not like you're running around with a big neon sign saying, I'm grateful. It's you within your gratitude. So when you maintain that type of frequency, it affects others who really like being around you because then they start experiencing gratitude. It's like, have you ever shaken anybody's hand that has done something, right? A service or something for you. You shake their hand. As you're shaking your hand, you look them square in the eye and you say, I appreciate you. I appreciate you. It's a different, see, now a lot of people, they don't catch it. It just doesn't, it registers a little bit. They think it's kind of odd, When you shake someone's hand and you say, I appreciate you. Because they did a good service, you're happy, whatever, okay? Or you just give someone a hug and you say, I appreciate you for just being. You don't have to do anything, give me anything. I appreciate you. And so all these discoveries that we come across in this life, we either embrace them or they come on, they just pass by. But the universe sends others. And some of us will start embracing them and say, oh, wait a minute, come back here. In every state of beingness that we seek in the material physical world, because we seek it outside of ourselves, is actually within us. It's within us 24/7. Ironically, we have been taught to seek it outside of ourselves. Go on a journey or excursion or go on a sabbatical. Years ago, I would go into monk monastery. There was a monk monastery where I lived. It wasn't far. It was maybe about 30 minutes away. And it was interesting because, and the monks would, you say you want to stay there, right? And they would accommodate you, and you have this room. There's no newspapers. There's no magazines. There's no music. There's nothing as far as a television. There's no computers. You are like, the only occupy you do is the space and with yourself. No distractions whatsoever. You eat, right? It's like you go to the table. Everybody comes to the table. No one says anything. There's no conversation. Zero conversation. Go to the table. You have your food. There's a kitchen. There's this table, and then there's this like industrial refrigerator, freezer, and then they have one of the monks will prepare the meals, kind of like the cook or the chef. And you're always in silence, in solitude, within yourself. And I would meditate all day and all night till I would get tired. I'd go to sleep. And it's interesting when you don't have you have zero distraction. You do have a distraction, ego mind. That's still a distraction, okay? But you learn to move away from it by not interacting with it. And you do it subtly, and eventually it just kind of, it rests is the best way I can describe it. You're there and you have nothing to prove to anything or anyone. And you're just being. And it's absolutely miraculous. You aren't bored. You don't get bored. The time element is almost non-existent. Because basically you can walk around the gardens, you go outside and stuff. You're not like in a prison. But it taught me a lot. And I reflect to it occasion. And then I can create it myself. I don't have to go to a place like that. I can create it for myself within. And you never have to do anything. It's just basically you decide to do it. And you begin to discover that you're about what you really are. And it is amazing to really discover who and what you really are. You realize you really don't, your name isn't you, the body isn't you. It's like everything is, it's like you're wearing a set of clothes. You're kind of like in disguise. And you're creating a material physical experience while you're in the body. And you make it as interesting as you can. You make it as interesting for yourself as you can because you're the one doing it. They say, you are the one doing it. And you discover that. You say, this is great. I'm the one that's actually doing this. Of course, the universe is there all the time assisting. But you're the one always there doing it. And you become more aware of that. This affords you to start mastering your thoughts and mastering the ego mind because you begin to discover this. You are the master and commander behind it all. You're behind the consciousness of God. You're behind the body. You're behind all of it. And this is why, people who they embrace the belief that they've screwed their life up or they're off path or they're lost and all this stuff. That's just ego mind. We don't ever get lost. We really don't. It's an experience that at the time we require. And so we experience that. It helps us. I bet you that if you, in quiet time, would ask yourself, if there was any, we've done this before, you've heard this before throughout the ages, if you could change anything that you cared to change in your entire life, what would it have been? Now, it's an interesting question, but you don't answer it right away because you think about it for a minute, and you say, you know something? I wouldn't change a thing because I wouldn't be where I am right now, and I wouldn't know what I am right now if it wasn't for all those things that I had experienced. Even the bad, even those bad, even that time even that time. And what does that confirm to us? It confirms that we've always been on the path. We really have. Sometimes, you're driving along and you've got those shoulders as like emergency pull off. Sometimes we'll pull off there and sit a bit, experience a few little things, and then come back onto the main drag. But none of us get lost, ever. We're never lost. That's ego mind stuff. We're always on the path. We've always been on the path. Yeah, we throw all kinds of things there. We experience some things. We jump over some things. We go through some things. We walk around some things. We embrace some things. But it's part of the fun of being in a physical material body and experiencing this physical material life. It's not drudgery, say. It's not drudgery. It's not any of that. We have an enjoyable experience. We enjoy ourselves more than we realize that we enjoy ourselves. We really do. But yet we let the ego mind come in. It comes in and says, no. See, this illusionary storm, right, that we're in. We're in this storm. It's illusionary. Now, when you discover that this illusionary storm first is illusionary, it's an illusion, and then you say, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to find the center of this storm, this cyclone of life, and I'm going to discover deep, profound peace. And that's exactly what you end up doing. You figure that you could stay in the center of that storm, and you know that storm's illusionary, created. And you say, well, I can be in the center of this storm or cyclone. And I can watch it all. I can watch it all unfold. I can watch things happen. I can learn from all of it. I can experience all of it. But yet, not be a part of it. It's the same with the ego mind. You can experience the ego mind. We all do. Often. But we're not the ego mind. Okay? Ego mind's an illusion. Question arises, then what is real? Really, what truly we can say to ourselves, what is real? The pure consciousness or the God within you. That's the only thing that is real. Say, everything else has been created so that we can experience it. That's the bottom line. That's as simple explanation as you can get. Once we begin to comprehend that, And it's you are the creator of all of that. For you. Every one of us are. That's why every one of us have these lives, right? A little different. A little different here, a little different there, a little more spice over here, a little less spice over there. Different. All of us, not the same. Each of us have a different experience. You ever notice that? Every one of us have a different kind of life. It's a different experience. For us. Designed for us. Each and every one of us. Some people experience things and they're sitting down and you have a conversation with them. You're going, holy cow, how can you still be here in that body right now with all the things you told me that you've experienced? And then they'll say, little old me, I never leave my town. There's huge difference in what we experience in this life. Each of us. Why is that? So that we can learn from each other. That's why. That's why the diversity's there. If we all had the same thing, we wouldn't learn. We wouldn't experience. We'd end up like slugs in the mud. So the diversity is the exciting part, because every one of us has a tailor-made life. And the tailor is you. You do the seams, you do the inseam, you do the length, the sizing. You do it all. And that's why when we come across other people on occasion, and we're in conversation with them, which seems to be a thing that doesn't happen much anymore, and then they start talking about themselves and saying things about, wow, you're there, right? You might have grown up on a farm or something, and you grew up in the town. You're in that town. They're talking, well, I've been here, and I had this experience here, and I lived overseas for a while here, and I did this, and you're sitting there with your life, right? For you, that's your life. And then they have this life, so the ego mind kicks in and goes, wow, I feel like I haven't done anything, which is untrue. Totally opposite. And this is why, once you realize that every single one of us is a teacher and a student. All of us are. I don't care if you're 150 years old. All of us are teachers and students. Sometimes we play the role of teacher. It's not like, I'm going to go out and teach today. It's not like that. You just by being, right, and interacting with others, you're teaching. Now, it's up to them to take it in or not take it in. It just depends. But most of the time we don't realize it. We learn something from somebody, and then because we learned it, it helps us. And sometimes we reflect, if I hadn't been talking with so-and-so when I did, I wouldn't have been able to do this. We connect the dots on occasion. And we say, boy, I'm deeply grateful for that interaction, that meeting. So this is why we're so social. We like interacting with each other because it's so adventuresome. We learn, we experience. It's what we do. So in this quiet time, this meditation, while you're relaxed into the body in a comfortable position, as still as you can be, focused on your breath rising and falling, ask yourself, how often are you in the center of the storm, and how often are you in the storm? I'll join you in meditation. I'll return to close this out. And an easy and slow breath out from the mouth. Remain still, relaxed into the body, focused on your breath rising and falling. Taste the sweetness of this life. Listen to the birds singing their favorite song. Feel the gentle breeze sweep softly across your face. This is the universe's way of inviting you to relax and savor the divine nectar within. It is safe to feel everything that comes your way in this life. Sitting quietly, doing nothing, is savoring. Take this with you for the rest of the day, into the evening and night and the following morning. We'll return here tonight, Wednesday, December 18th, 2024, a little after 9:15 p.m. Eastern, to continue our time for change call. And Thursday, December 19, 2024, a little after 3:15 p.m. Eastern, to continue our global guided meditation call. Be gentle, kind, generous, and humble with yourself at all times. Be in the highest of the highest high, deepest of the deepest deepest, purest of the purest purest. Eternal gratitude at all times, no matter what's going on out there or within you. Open your heart and allow the magic to flow in.